Hello, gamers. So I hope everyone had a good Happy Father's Day, and just had a good Sunday. This has been it has been a day, busy day here. Let me recap some stuff. I do want to. Hey, thank you for showing up. So yeah, good to see you here. Appreciate the heads up on the audio. So what are we doing with the org? Firstly, I have to issue and offer a little apology here. I know I've been away from the channel for a while, for a long time, and what's going on there is I dropped the ball a little bit in terms of keeping up. I acknowledge that. I'm just gonna own up to that. Um, as far as the updates, I've been doing updates, but I haven't been able to get on screen for various reasons. Shouldn't be something that's going to happen going forward. What I've been doing is working in the background. Here's what I could tell you. There are deliverables in this situation. What we have is an upgraded website. So I've been hard at work making the site completely mobile compatible. So your mobile experience should be really good. All the pages should load and be about the right size to where everything can work for you. And we have a new menu system. We have new pages, including the frequently asked questions, our mission statement, basically, and terms and conditions, some of the rules, and just toss for the page and for org purposes. So I've been working on all that in the background, in addition to some other things. Basically, there's paperwork stuff that I will go into further. That is it's a real pain in the ass. It's just a fucking pain. So I don't want to discuss all that. That's just to update anyone and everyone that's following along with our course and launching. For right now, I want to get into the really good stuff. The reason we're all here, which is the Ghostbusters stuff. So yeah, I am a big fan, longtime fan of the series. Um, have been about as long as I can remember. Um, yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about that. So, I'll start off with some pictures actually. And before I do that, before the pictures, check it out. I have with me the Wokebusters. Okay, the comic. Just got it. Came really quick, and it looks really good. I haven't really looked through it. I've looked at some of the material online to the preview panels, and they look friggin' great. Um, I think this speaks to some of mine, some of our interests creatively. Those of us who love Ghostbusters. I'm kind of a fan. You might be able to tell a little bit. Um, I rock the gear. I think we got a ghost trap over here somewhere. But it's not just all about the toys. It's about the Ghostbuster spirit. It's about what Boston makes you feel good. And it's about repping the uniform, getting the job done. There's Ghostbusters is a way of life also. So that's something that has in common with a lot of gamers, I can say. So all right, let's go ahead and launch some of the stuff so I could share this with you. All right. So let me do that now. What we got here, I will show you some of my pictures that I got from way back. Um, I hope everybody's interested to see that. I'm just gonna scan through those. I am a long time fan. I think you could say I've been watching Ghostbusters since I've been about 3 years old. I think I saw started watching the movies. Didn't get any of the humor, a little bit of the humor, um, and I didn't. I think I probably held on to someone's arm when the terror dogs came on the screen originally, but that was a long time ago. So at this point, I could say I'm a lifelong fan. And what a great series! What a great series! So here, let me go ahead and bring this over. Should be able to see this now. That is me, at one of the, if not the opening year, very close to the opening year. It might have been the second year that they opened at Universal Studios Florida. I don't know if they have another one, but that is the one. And yeah, I was lucky enough that my parents did take me to that. That's something I really wanted to go to, um, pretty badly, and they got me there. That's the Ecto one, obviously. I was no older than 9 there, probably like 7 something. Still rocking the uniform. Had to make a few adjustments over the years to keep it in the right size. But yeah, yeah, that's me there. This is me with Egon. Okay, so the actors were, they weren't, of course, the studio actors. These were Universal play actors that are the guys there. They're a lot of fun. They really had the spirit. Made me very happy to meet them. Felt like meeting the real Ghostbusters. Got to hold the proton gun there. They don't, they're props, so they don't shoot the lightning as we see in the film. Probably a good thing for park guests. But I was really happy. I was really happy to get to try it out. And let's see here. I met Ray. All right. Along walking along with Ecto. Cool guy. And I was kind of a munchkin there, as you could see, a long time ago. So here we have me. That's just me on the edge of the frame of the picture there. This was in the laboratory. Like you went up on stage. It was kind of a little bit of a laboratory adventure. We got to meet Lewis there. As you'll see in some of the next slides. Okay, so we were waiting in line to have the ectoplasm experience. All right, we got to handle the real stuff. So in controlled circumstances, of course. And I was pretty happy. I was a little impatient, I think. Um, that was me on stage with some of my teeth that still needed to come in there. Okay. The goal was not to drop any of the slime. Okay. So I think I almost got that. I think I might have dropped a little. Let me see here. That's Lewis. Okay, he was a great host. Really fantastic actors they had there. Um, yeah, I was having a blast. I was having a blast, to be honest with you. So yeah, there was that stuff was so slippery. I actually dropped a bit, I guess. But yeah, I don't think it was pass fail. Um, it was a fun time. That was a fun time. So that's the whole chair assembly there and everything. You could see the proton packs in the background. Um, that was an experience of a lifetime. That was a lot of fun. So that's a little bit more of a distant shot just before the slime almost escaped. Um, so yeah, that's what I got for those. Hope you found it interesting here looking at the shots with me. Um, yeah, that was back in the day. I have been a Ghostbusters fan as long as I can remember. It's not just movies, obviously. The movies are the movies. They're the thing. Um, Ghostbusters one, probably one of the best movies of all time. Um, and one of my favorites. I've mostly like just as a kid, I would watch it like routinely. Sometimes maybe once a day. I probably have seen that movie over 1,000 times. I would comfortably assert I've seen it over 1,000 times, actually. Not as much recently. Other things to do, a lot of other movies I can watch. But it's still probably is my top movie. Um, yeah, yeah. I would count myself a lifetime, a lifelong fan, and I love the Ghostbusters. Um, kind of, a little bit obvious, I hope. Um, what's to say there? Because I mean, Ghostbusters is films. It's TV, the real Ghostbusters. That's one of my favorite cartoons. I mean, from back in the day. Um, I feel a big like creative attachment to that. It's not an abstraction as far as an intellectual property for me. It's not something that's intangible. It's not like a place I go to at a park. It's also a place I could maybe go to if they have that event open. But for me, Ghostbusters lives in my heart, right? Like I am a real Ghostbuster. Um, in my own mind. On a day-to-day basis, do I go around and rep the suit? No, no, I do not. No, I do not. Would I? There are people that do that. I have that in mind. That is definitely on the table. But for the most part, it's more of a spirit thing, right? Can do attitude. Um, willingness to tackle the unknown, curiosity. Um, just discipline can do it. A little bit of discipline. Uh, they're not the most professional outfit, but they do get the job done, and that's there's a lot of inspiring ethos, right? The Ghostbusters ethos inspires the fuck out of me, um, and has since when. So that's you see that in the pictures starting out. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Um, I have a lot of thoughts in the direction of where the franchise has gone and everything. Um, I think before I launch into that, I do see there's a few folks in here. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know, let me know if I'm coming through good as far as audio still. Did have an issue with that earlier, and yeah, we can go ahead, and I think this would be a good time before I give my whole long spiel on what I think about the state of the franchise and my favorite movies and my favorite scenes and all that stuff, because I could talk about that forever. Um, and the games I've played, the NES. I have played the SNES game. There are at least two, I want to say, maybe three computer games. But I have the most recent one, the Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. Um, really sweet, really nice game. If there's enough time and interest here, I may wind up just playing it, which would be awesome. At least play a little bit. Um, right now, I'm going to unveil Wokebusters, because before we can do full justice to all that is Ghostbusters in the present day and age, we should check this out. We should check out Wokebusters, because something tells me this is going to be one heck of a parody comic right here. Okay, and I want to get on that. And this just arrived fresh. Have not dug in, but this is the time. This is definitely the time. So let me get into so you can enjoy this with me. Okay, this is you want to know what took forever getting started as far as technical stuff. See this camera? Yeah, that's what took the time. That's what took it. Didn't want to turn on. Doesn't matter now though. Doesn't matter now though. Let's unbox this puppy. All right, and you know what I'm gonna do? I think I can pull down that. Let me go ahead and pull this down. Okay. All right. So yeah, we will leave that up there as a little watermark, but pretty much Here it is. Okay. They're here to save society from what? From itself, perhaps. Quite possible, right? All right. Let's dig in. Jeff Hicks, a paranormal parody. Love it. All right. Let me actually move this out of the way. All right, Chapter 1. Story and art, Jeff Hicks. Inks, Chris Arisawenda. Hope I pronounced that right. Colors, Febri Ferdian. And letters, T.S. Choka and Gans Navarro. Editor, Chad Nails. All right. Looks like we have a scene where like some kind of monster is broken out of the window of a building here. Primebrook University, one of the oldest institutions in academia. These hallowed halls have housed some of the greatest achievers of the 20th century. Next. Hello, I'm Dr. Udom. These are my colleagues, Dr. Hicks and Dr. Green. Thank you for agreeing to participate in today's experiment. We're testing the effects of offensive sociological triggers on the human psyche. You will be shown a series of cards, and we will record your reactions. Do you have any questions? No. Then let's begin. How does this make you feel? Pizza. The machine beeps once. The subject answers has been recorded as positive. How does this make you feel? Cauliflower. The machine beeps twice. The subject's answer has been recorded as negative. I can't believe Nick got another subject. This kid must be desperate for the credit. We always get the desperate ones late in the semester. I love the setup. I love the opening. This is a very reminiscent of the movie. I love it. Okay, let's continue. The experiment continues. How does this make you feel? Gender. The machine beeps 3 times. The subject's vitals rise. I just hope we make some headway soon. We've been at this for too long. Research like this takes time. I'm just glad the university hasn't cut funding. They would if they knew what we're doing. Hold on. The machine isn't supposed to beep more than twice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look at what's on this. It hasn't stopped beeping. Now how does this make you feel? White male. The subject's eyes are very wide. Upon seeing the triggering word, the test subject begins to shake violently. His body spasms. Suddenly, roar! And we're looking at some kind of Hulk monster, basically. He throws off the equipment and the headband. Nick, what did you do? Nothing outside the normal parameters of the extreme. You took it too damn far. Run! Roar! The creature tears through the college like tissue paper. Crash. Walls explode violently. Oh, wait. I'm getting out of it. Okay. Our heroes race through the hallways, warning the staff of the impending trouble. Everybody out. There's a monster. Go! and everybody's looking. Egon, well, maybe not Egon, but he's mopping the floor. Hey, get the hell out of here right now! There's a goddamn monster in the building. Boom. The creature tears through the college like tissue paper. Crash. Walls violently explode around it. The foundation quakes at its feet. Bonk. Bonk. It seems nothing can stop this juggernaut. It has been truly triggered. Ah, those damn triggers. Yeah. Hurry, let's see if we can draw it outside. Boom. It's breaking through all the walls. Across the street. Oh. The creature closes in on our heroes. Death is mere inches away until our unstoppable force is flattened. Oh, shit. Splat. City bus. Back at the university, the three men have a very tense meeting with the dean. You three conducted dangerous and offensive research on this campus without approval. You put thousands of students and staff at risk, caused millions in damage, tarnished our reputation, and the worst part, you made that young man so uncomfortable that he acted out in a way he couldn't control. If the student had survived, but nothing, Dr. Hicks. This institution will not house research like yours. If the student had survived, he could have sued this institution for millions. You triggered him. The type of research you conduct is offensive to this department and to the detriment of this university. The three of you are fired. Aw. After receiving the worst news of their careers, our heroes take refuge at their favorite bar. Tully's Tavern Bar and Grill. I love it. Well, that was a nice career. We were robbed. The university's response to our research was extreme and unfounded. I think we should take this higher. It's the dean. Who else is there? I'm just going to tell people I decided to retire. Funny way of putting it, Dion. Well, it's easier than telling my mom I was fired because the Nick-bearded wonder killed someone. Was I driving that bus? I don't think so. No, but you turned that dude into a thing. Words don't make people turn into one of those. Before Nick can finish his statement, an outburst at the bar captures their attention. Monsters, dude. Literal monsters. It's insane. They say it tore through the Whole Foods, and now it's destroying Superdawg. Superdawg? That's in Chicago. We're in, after a moment of realization, there's more out there! Huh? You said there's a monster? Yeah, it's all over the news. Thank you. Our heroes are transfixed by what they see on the screen. That's definitely another one. Uglier than the one we faced. Turn up the volume. After the creature appeared, it began screeching and destroying everything in its path. Some witnesses claim the creature started out as human. Others claim it's part of a PSYOP program aimed at turning people into easily controllable beasts that can be used for destruction. Nah, it's just a comic. Couldn't be real life. No word from government officials on this connection. The connection between this sighting and the rumors of similar incidents sweeping the nation. And now a word from our sponsor, the porous inflow septic system from Murray's Home Filtration. I love the Easter eggs. I love the Easter eggs, guys. Very nice work. Very nice work. If the creators see this. They had footage of another creature. It sounds just like what happened in the office. Which means today's attack on campus isn't isolated. I think our research was pointing in the right direction. There we go. Nick, that's great, but the university kept the research. We've got nothing. Not necessarily. Excuse me, can I have my phone, please? Hilarious. They just took his phone. Nick's apartment. Today, we lost our equipment, our data, and our reputation. But there is good news. I backed up everything here at home. Outside of today's anomaly, we have access to everything we've ever done for the university. The next step in our research was always practical application. For years, we've been tracking down mysterious leads and rumors of monster sightings. The university always assumed we were collecting data on the sociological impact of negative energy, but I've always been taking it one step further. I've been getting prepared to fight it. Nice. Thorough science, thorough science. Inside Nick's workshop. I call this my magic wand. It's powered by a laser-operated grid interworking cache, or logic. It focuses good energy and blasts away the bad. Whoa. I also have this bad boy. I call it my EPC meter, my epic meter. I'm able to adjust the frequency to track negative energy patterns. It should help us to track these things and let us know when we're close. Ah, EPC, extreme political correctness. Okay. The gear requires a lot of energy. The only solutions so far are these massive battery packs. They're big, but not very heavy. The equipment is easily upgradable too, so if need be, we can up the juice. How are you liking it so far? I see we got a couple folks in here reading along with me. Let me know. Let me know. I'm enjoying this. This is a good take. All right, so Nick, this is great. With these, we can get out there, stop those creatures, and make the university look stupid in the process. Perfect. After Nick's briefing, the three men turned their attention online to search for reports of local creature sightings. These things keep popping up all over. There's been a new one spotted near the park. That post is from less than an hour ago. Let's go. Peck Park, midnight. Our heroes creep quietly through the night in search of validation. It says it's this way. That's what it said the last time. Nick, we've been at this for 2 hours. Does that damn thing even work? I've never tested it in the field, but I do believe my calculations are correct. It says it's this way. Stay sharp. Keep looking. I don't see anything. Nick's device continues to track the strange energy source. According to this, the creature is right behind us? Brushes rustle, branches crack, the sea of leaves part. Fear flows through our heroes. Their hunt is finally over. for they have become the prey. What the fuck? Get him! Before our heroes can react, Nick is swatted away. Splash. Nick, the thing is getting away. Shoot it. Budding. After a series of missed shots, Jeff connects with the light post. Go, Jeff. Bonk. It's stunned. Hurry up. Blast it. Blah! The green blast of highly concentrated, positively charged energy envelopes the creature, weakening its outrage. Its cry turns from horrific to human. A moment later. Holy shit! It worked! It's human again! Their joy is cut short by the sound of splashing water. Nick! Nick, are you okay? Fine. Just soggy. It worked! Your magic wand stopped that creature. It's human again. Show me. Our excited exterminators return to the scene, only to find nothing. He's gone. A naked dude was just right there. I believe you. The footprints head in that direction. We should follow him and interview him about the experience. Sirens cut through the night air. Somebody could have seen us. Let's get out of here. Good call. 3 colored dudes in a park at night. It never looks good. Back at Nick's, our heroes discuss the night's adventure. That was amazing, Nick. You're a genius. Now that we know it works, I think we should quickly move along to public application. Let's go into business. Let's hunt these things. Make some money. I don't know. One successful result isn't enough to... I think of it like this. The university fired us because our research was too dangerous, but we knew we were right the whole time. The university fired us because we asked offensive questions. That doesn't happen. It does though, doesn't it? Same difference. We're out of work, and according to the internet, there are a lot of those things out there. Come on, guys. This is our chance. We've been researching this stuff since it was just a rumor. Too weird for the internet. It's not a crime to capitalize on this. Hear, hear. We have the tech, we have the brains. The only thing we're missing is the dream. Okay, let's say I'm in, but if the university finds out we started a business with research that's technically owned by them, they'll sue the shit out of us. Then let's go somewhere else. Moments later, at Nick's computer. Well, phew, what's in Portland? Well, according to this, Portland, Oregon has the highest number of sightings, and there's 0 reports of police engagement. Strange. Coffee and hippies. Yeah, but there's also opportunity. That's a list of over 100 sightings. If we charged right, we could be making 6 figures real fast. I bet the cost of living is cheaper there too. Okay, Mr. Businessman, that sounds great, but what's your plan? And let me just throw in here, because I didn't actually address it up front. This week, June 8th, actually, is the actually, like, it's technically the end of last week, is the National Ghostbusters. It's actually like Worldwide Ghostbusters Day. So every year, June 8th, there is a celebration somewhere near you for Ghostbusters, right? You don't have to have a uniform. You know, all you have to do is share the Ghostbusters spirit. Want to be there, maybe bust some ghosts. And I actually have a calendar app that I will put in the description, that will let you just add it to your Google Calendar or Apple Calendar or whatever. But that's one to look for. So I'm going to read a bit more. After a brief pause, Jeff lays out his master plan. We start fresh in Portland. We're three single, unemployed doctors with nothing holding us here. Let's go out west and make our fortune. It sounds complicated. Nothing easy is ever worthwhile, Nick. Plus, what else do you have going on? Dion voices his only concern. After tonight, though, I think we need another guy. Those things are tough. Good point. Another person can aid in capturing these creatures more efficiently. Who can we get? Who can we afford? That narrows it down by a lot. There's one guy. He's a little eccentric, but he may take the bait. Back on campus. I'm in. Ken. Yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. And you're okay with the compensation? Ownership in a startup? Who are you kidding? Of course I'm okay with this. Kendaman. Alright, well that was easier than expected. And just to be clear, you're okay with moving to Portland? Yeah, Portland's just another town. A little weird, a lot of coffee and hippies, but it'll be cool. After a long dramatic pause, well, you're hired. Welcome aboard. Thank you so much. You're not going to regret this. I'm sure I won't. And with that, the team is now complete. Next stop, Portland. Pembroke University. Dean John Ambrose. This memo is to let everyone know that effective immediately, Professors Hicks, Green, and Utem are not permitted anywhere on campus. They have been terminated for conducting unsanctioned experiments that go against the ethics of this university. Their research was deemed offensive. We at Pembroke cannot condone such behavior on campus grounds. Let their dismissal serve as a reminder of Pembroke's zero-tolerance policy. On a side now, the sociology department will be closed until further notice. The building was found structurally unsound, and construction will begin Monday to repair the code violations. Hilarious. Welcome to Portland, Oregon, Old Town. Well, it looks nice so far. Chapter 2. That's definitely a solid comic. I love the opening. I'm probably gonna pause right here, just so we can recap on some other stuff, about Ghostbusters lore, fandom, and my thoughts on it. This is definitely so far, I'd say, based on the first chapter, one to look at and maybe get. Definitely one I'm going to keep. But we'll read a little more, and I'll be able to give a more solid take on it. Fun book though, great illustrations. And I am enjoying the dialogue. It's actually very Ghostbusters-esque dialogue. So let's let's get into some of the Ghostbusters culture and lore. Um, I've been I'm about as good an authority on it as it gets outside of the writers' room and anyone else who's been following it as long as I have. Um, oh, you got to get a load of this though. Hold on one second. One more thing. Check out the back cover. Straight out of Ghostbusters too. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Fantastic work, guys. They did a great job on this. Um, yeah. So Ghostbusters lore and stuff. The whole background of it is like a a couple guys, right? Like university, um, basically scientists get together and they're studying paranormal stuff and whatever. The story, if you've seen the movie, many people have, not everyone has. I'll just recap it briefly. Um, they, much like the comic, they get expelled from the university for like unauthorized experimentation, that sort of thing. What the movie sets up is a supernatural, like parody parody comedy scenario where the antagonists are all like undead spirits that are starting to come back because of a thing. I don't, not to spoil it. And it's they take it upon themselves to to go into business and basically save the world. Unbeknownst to them, they are there to save the world, and that's pretty much how it's set up. Not to spoil the whole story or anything, but they do great stuff in the movie, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't require any kind of as far as the story goes, it's more like an SNL skit. So that's like Saturday Night Live, um, and that's where a lot of their background is. Second City, Saturday Night Live, things like that. It's a very tight knit, fast paced, um, slapstick comedy, among other things. All right, it's one of the more it's one of the best comedies I've ever seen. Okay, there's a number of movies that straight up just they just win on their own. Okay, they just totally stand out on their own. Ghostbusters is one of those. Ghostbusters is one of those that that is just, it makes you cheer as a movie. Okay, it's like this is a movie that has excellent pacing, has like doesn't get better um chemistry between the actors. This Ghostbusters is one of the unique movies that you could say it's acted almost perfectly, if not perfectly. The story is tight. There's no real plot holes to speak of. And the ones that need be identified are, we're talking about very forgivable stuff. So the story is a great send up of like schlock horror, right? The sort of thing that you might have gotten from like a Vincent Price. This is a kind of a B movie stuff back in the day, but it's a send up of that, and it does it really super successfully. Now, people that may not be into film as much may not be familiar with all kind of the terms I'm using and whatnot with that. But essentially, it's a very successful comedy. I'll put it that way. Like the execution is perfect, and I've loved it obviously since forever. It meant the world to me. And I think the reason why you could say like it worked so well for me is it the acting was completely crisp. Okay. So it's like this is this is comedy that's made comedy. It's comedy that it's unflinching, and it doesn't hold anything back, but at the same time it's tongue in cheek. It's tongue in cheek. So any kind of the dark humor involved, any kind of the double entendres, any kind of any kind of real darkness in it, whatever, is it's essentially it's all in good fun, and it's successfully executed on that basis. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of like crude humor in the conventional sense. It's pretty much like all smooth humor. Okay, the type of stuff that it's like improv. It's improv essentially. It's all executed as improv, and that's a beautiful thing to see. You don't see too many major productions that can be pulled off that way. All right, it's a rare thing, and I mean I could think of a handful in which I've seen something like that happen. Um, probably also involving some of the same cast members. You're talking Bill Murray. I mean, and people, but just the same people cast in different roles. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. They're very good stuff on a Caddyshack, Groundhog's Day. Also pretty big. Some sadness and tinged there in Groundhog's Day, but it's a heavy movie, right? It's a seriouser movie. It's comedy. There's a little bit of a serious undertone to it. Not so much with Ghostbusters. Caddyshack, definitely not. Shit was crazy. Great movie, great movie. The Gopher. The Gopher was an add-in, right? Like that wasn't. They weren't even going to do that big with the Gopher, and and then Bill Murray actually wrote himself essentially a role just by being such just crazy ass self. Now that is a consummate. I mean, he is a consummate actor and comedian. All respect to Bill Murray. One of my favorite actors. One of my favorite actors. I think I might have your flight suit here, Bill. I think the cleaners mixed up something. Cause anyway. Now that's a comedian, right? Those guys are comedians made. And what they did, absolutely legendary. Culture, culture making. All right. People to this day know Ghostbusters as a chant, know Ghostbusters as an icon, right? There's very few places in the world you go and people don't know what that is. All right. They touched something in the human spirit with that film, and for me too. I It means it's really dear. It's close to my heart. Ghostbusters. It's not just the swag. It's but the swag is there because it's been there, and uh, I like to see when something is a cultural touchstone. When something transcends art. In the way Ghostbusters did. Okay. Um, because it really did. It's a little beyond just like art. It is for sure. Comedy, it is for sure. Great film, 100%. Ghostbusters 2 also. This could get contentious as far as which one is the best one or whatever. I'll do ratings later. But they're both good movies. First one is like the best, of course. Um, but they transcended like the medium, and that's rare. Not every film does that. Not every film reaches culture beyond the consumer experience of being entertained, beyond the performance of comedy that lasts with an audience. and it did. Ghostbusters really, really did. There are reasons that I kind of obsessed over it as a kid, right? Watched it over 1,000 times maybe before like 10 years old. Um, the performances were just incredibly solid. The dialogue also is very clever. Um, and the underlying theme was extremely engaging. I mean, it was supernatural schlock horror meets comedy. The chemistry of that formula alone, before you add all the excellent production value with ILM, actually it's not ILM. All right, I should correct that. Um, some of the people that were at ILM branched out to do their own studio for Ghostbusters. Like it was a very, very special um, development. As far as a movie, it didn't just go off without a hitch. It was like lots of things had to come together. They didn't originally have the rights for the name. They found out that there was like an animated Ghostbusters movie that they had to contend with the rights for. There's a lot that went into that, and I know the lore of it very well. I could pretty much recount. I know the production stuff well enough to recount a fair amount of it by heart. Um, I know Danny Aykroyd. He's a guy who he knows his stuff, right? When he knows his stuff, he could just kind of spit it out. Well, in the event that he ever sees this, I hope he understands that I could tell the tale of the production of Ghostbusters at least as well as some of the crew and cast have, and on the on a lot of the tapes. I've studied it, so I'm at least that much of a Ghostbusters scholar. And that I think that entitles me to a certain perspective that I can speak from on it. Not to mention, being a lifelong fan. Apart from that, right? It's not just as an indulgent consumer, and it's not like I watched it one time and I'm an expert. I watched it a hell of a lot of times, and I've studied the background and everything, as we do, as as an aficionado, true fans, players do, right? If we're talking about a game, sometimes it's just a game. In this case, it's a franchise that has everything. Um, we tend to dig into it like that. At least some of us do, and yeah, it's born of passion and love and dedication. I think to the spirit, to the concept involved, right? Like the ethos of Ghostbusters and just the fun that carried the whole performance, the whole message. Um, Something you just don't get in every film. You just don't get in every film. So, let's discuss. Let me go into. Um, I'm gonna say the first one. Like that's definitely describes the first one from my point of view. The second one is essentially has the same underpinning of like everything I described before, but it's more of a hyped up, kind of a punched up adventure version. It's a lot more like the cartoon. All right, the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, was a great Saturday morning like um like serial adventure cartoon, and that was probably one of my favorite cartoons. I could pretty easily say that. Um, what did I like about it? I think what I liked about it the most was kind of the larger than life characters. All right, because I do believe the cartoon. I'm like about 100% that the cartoon came before Ghostbusters 2. I mean that sustained interest. Um, they did the characterization well. They carried over well to the cartoon, and the voice acting was very good. I know one of them is Lamarche, I believe. I'm not great with names, but I don't know the full name, but Lamar. He's done a bunch of cartoons. Very good voice actor. Pretty much everybody on there I liked, and the dialogue was basic, but I liked it. That was a great cartoon. It was a great cartoon, and it did deal with some of the same concepts, some of the same supernatural horror, sort of concepts and monsters and demons and all that. But it did it in a way that was, was punchy and upbeat and resolved by the end of every episode, as tended to be done in the 80s and 90s. It was popcorn cartoon drama, and absolutely fine, absolutely good with that. I would still watch that now. In fact, and not only do I have the box set of all of the movies, the canon movies, um, but of course I also have the cartoon. So yeah, Ghostbusters is it is by far not just a meme for me. The Ghostbusters 2 movie, I'll say, probably had a higher excitement factor. Because I mean, let's face it, we're talking about the Titanic arrives in New York after, I mean, 70, 80 years at that point, I think. Um, Famously, better late than never. Um, Also a little bit of a subtext for this stream. I'm glad we did get there. And then the Statue of Liberty. They get the Statue of Liberty to walk and dance. And I mean, crash the the museum dome thing. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but it does happen. Yeah, if you've seen that scene, that's hard to miss. It's hard to miss. So that's I mean, that was probably one of the most hype scenes I've ever seen in any movie. I mean, I happen to, I love the Statue of Liberty, right? Growing up, I thought like, New York is pretty cool place, and the statue, always wanted to see the statue and stuff. So the fact they, not only went to it, got it on film, they got the thing to walk, kind of saved the. We'll say they started saving the world with it. I don't want to spoil it, but like that was their mission. That's pretty freaking cool. Okay. I love that movie. I love both of them and the cartoon. Um, After that, I mean, I think anyone that's followed or anyone that started out around that time as a fan of the franchise has got to know. Um, there was an epic lull, and I don't mean in the haha lull sense. Uh, at least three L's in that lull, and uh, you know, there was a lot of merch, and I mean, we kept the culture alive with or without any kind of mainstream production. Supporting our creative interest in it, but it definitely would have been good if there was another film that could have come out in in a realistic time span. I think after two, there's mixed opinions among ghost heads. Okay, Ghostbusters 2 is, some people purists, they'll say it's not canon. Some people will say that like it's the lesser film. Okay, I believe it's equivalent but different to Ghostbusters 1. That may be pretty strong heresy for some, but you could go in the comments, or this is one that could be debated. Um, Long story short, Ghostbusters 2 was a worthy successor to it, but it didn't really carry the franchise through. And a lot of Aykroyd's vision for it, like he had what eventually would become the basis for Ghostbusters 3, not filmed. Um, it was not optioned properly in and like brought into that film. I feel like they could have made it more of a drama, maybe a little darker, and maybe more of a gothic horror comedy, right? Maybe a little bit more Vincent Price style, right? This is a reference not everyone will know. Vincent Price is the Prince of Horror. You have to be either old or a film buff. I'm gonna say I'm a film buff, because that's how that works. Most of his work was probably done pre '80s, except for like the Scooby Doo stuff and like the cameo stuff he did after. He did a few things, but he was starting to retire in the '90s. I'm gonna say, and Vincent Price was based as fuck. What a horror legend. Um, and, there's a lot of tributes you could say in Ghostbusters to his work, as well as others. There's a lesser known film, The Asphyx, that is said to be, and I think I don't know. I think Aykroyd at some point may have seen it, or it's thought to be an influence, more or less. It's a really interesting and good film, British movie. Think it's 78, 76. It's somewhere in there, and that's it's what ASPHYX, I believe. Okay, you got to see it if you like the Ghostbusters. It's gonna blow your mind. You should check that out. So, and that's some of the history, that's some of the background. Where are we today with it? Where are we today? Well, firstly, Ghostbusters, like Goonies, never die. All right, still repping it. Um, Still love it. Still will brag about it. Still will talk for, I don't know, however long this stream is gonna be about it. Um, there's no limit. Okay, there's no limit on it. The franchise rights holders, right? We want them to do the best, right? For, I mean, we could say in principle for their property, right? Make the most of it, but we want creatively the best. We want to see the lore respected. We want to see the legacy protected, um, and we want to see worthy art. We want to see worthy art in the first place, always. Righteous art makes us, enlivens our spirits, gets us going in some way to, be emotionally moved, or impressed in some way by it. That's always a goal. Um, for Ghostbusters, that's been done in spades. I mean, it's hard to top and or meet the performances of the original crew. Okay, so it's Ernie Hudson, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. Um, oh, let's see, Potts, Annie Potts, and for Lewis Tully. Oh, this is bad. Why do I not know the guy who's he's the same guy from Little Shop and Honey I Shrunk the Kids. Help me out here. Help me out. He's actually coming back. He's coming back now. He's doing. He is doing. One second. I must find this out. He is doing Spaceballs too, which is fantastic. Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis. It's totally a brain fart. No slight whatsoever. You probably killed that role more than maybe anybody else in that movie except Bill. I mean, come on. Wow. Yeah. Everyone loves Lewis Tully. The guy friggin' made the movie. Of course, Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney is the kind of the co-star to, if you want to say Bill is the lead star, the co-star. I think it's how it's billed. I don't want to get in trouble here as far as technical billing, but Sigourney, there's no movie without Sigourney. And I love her from Aliens. I love her obviously from this. I think it's my favorite role for Weaver is Dana Barrett. Um, just because it's contemporary, it's accessible in the '90s, right? We're not talking about some abstract sci-fi fantasy and some distant solar system or something. Um, and such a great personality, such a great personality. Bill and Dana play off each other so expertly. It's absolutely effortless. completely oblivious as a child to the innuendos and everything. It was clueless, but very fun, fluid comedy, and it managed to have something for everyone. It had comedy, horror, it had mythology, it had science. It's hard to think of another story that packs in as much and does it as well, as tightly integrated a package as Ghostbusters. Um, Absolutely legendary work of art, which is why I believe very strongly, profoundly, that such works of art like that, really can't say there are too many, right? But things that really become cultural properties. We're not just talking like a film per se at this point. We're talking ingrained in the culture, cultural touchstones. All right, like Tolkien's work. Okay, I would go also to say, Ridley Scott with Alien, that had an impact. A little different, but I mean that was very strongly, like, that resonated in the culture so much. We've got, like, what, I don't know, 7 movies in the can, something like that. Just based on that franchise. Not all of which were top notch. I think he had an interview lately. I mean, like, really recently, where he said he's pretty proud of, like, I think the first three, not so much the later ones. And I'm kind of with you on that, Ridley. Like, great lore, and the acting and stuff top notch there. But yeah, not everyone has to be a winner. Sometimes they over serialize. It is fortunate in a way that Ghostbusters did get something of maybe a reprieve, right? Ghostbusters was not it was not made. It wasn't MCUized. All right. Nobody really wants what has come out of, like, the whole studio process of late with, like, I mean, the MC universe is just as one example, as one good idle object lesson. Not totally idle, but I mean, it's like, I don't see those movies pulling the numbers. I don't think anyone really, nobody's gonna, fight to the front of a line, to go see, like, Wonder Woman, or Wanda, or whatever those were. I mean, they're just not good. They're not like movies that in any way are artistically compelling, from what I understand. And there's a variety like it. I mean, there's a variety like it. Those are just two examples. I'm not gonna pick on those specifically, but I don't think those did too well. I think the either the second or third Ant Man. I think it was the third Ant Man. I lost track. See, that's kind of the issue. If people that would be interested, and I did like the first one. This is just a little segue here. Like, first Ant Man, completely legit. Pretty sure I saw the second one. It was all right. Like, it was all right. Nothing to write home about. Was there a third one? I don't know. I don't care. I think it was Ant Man versus Wasp Man or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Just, yeah, they just, there's too much. There's such a thing as franchise fatigue, right? And overly milking otherwise interested audiences. It's something that's almost impossible to do with something like Ghostbusters. I mean, that's like, it's so iconic that you either fail completely catastrophically, which I'm kind of leading up to addressing something like that. Or they say, like, aim for the sky, and even if you fall short, you'll land among the stars, or something like that. I probably am phrasing that a little bit wrong, but shoot for the stars, and you'll still land among them, even if you don't make it. It's kind of like that with Ghostbusters. I think the bar is so high there that, I mean, if you do a worthy tribute, even as a major production, which is not to say that the follow-ups have been that. I mean, they also have been that, in my opinion, but they're more than that. They stand on their own. I'll say Afterlife and Frozen Empire, stand on their own. The first one more than the second one, which for reasons I'll go into. Um, but yeah, there was something that happened in 2016, and I think shoot, I think that's something we need to get into. You know what I mean? That's one kind of, I'm gonna say we got to we've got to address. So just bear with me just a moment. I'm gonna be right back. And then we're gonna address that. Thank you all for holding on. Let's see. Do we have visual? Yeah, you should be able to see me now. Okay, so like, what happened in 2016? What happened in 2016? Whew. Some things. So some stuff happened in 2016. I think a movie came out. Not super sure about that. Pretty sure a movie came out. Let me just be real here. I understand the long-standing situation as far as how there's a backstory. There's a backstory. The rights and the way the movie was handled, right, creatively with the talent, because you have big names, Murray, Aykroyd, all those guys, huge talent without which, ostensibly and actually, Ghostbusters can't be done without. Like they're they're completely core integral. They made it. Um, Not to mention wrote it, right? Like Ramis and Aykroyd. I think principally Ramis and Aykroyd wrote it. Like I believe it like at a beach house sort of situation. Um, and they carried it off in a really unique way. So the way that they treated the follow up, right, the handling of any kind of nod for of any follow up going forward, they're they had to agree, right? There had to be some kind of agreement, and I think Murray in particular had to give the go ahead. This is my paraphrasing it, based on their interviews and stuff. And for the longest time, he said no, basically. I think there were a number of reasons, and I think I respect strongest Murray's sense of independence, creative independence. He definitely did not want to be typecast, and be doing Ghostbuster soap serials for the rest of his career. You can't I don't think anyone can say anything against that. Anyone that would say anything against that, I kind of be against them. Murray definitely had the right I feel he had the right instinct, okay, with that. Like he definitely could have, it would have risked typecasting an incredibly dynamic, creative, comedic talent in a, although a very a very versatile creative area, as far as places you could take Ghostbusters. It's like there's so many different directions, but he's not the Ghostbusters, like in-house actor, right? He's the core, in the Ghostbusters team. They're all core, but you can't you just can't ask that of someone creatively. I would not want that for him, either, to be typecast in that way. And so he was reluctant to sign on for another one. And the way the story went, is he did agree eventually, right? Ultimately to the next one, and it his condition was basically to like have an all woman cast. So that in a way that kind of did come about due to Bill Murray. And Aykroyd, for his part, he was like, he's very sympathetic, approving of the idea. I think his words were like, affirming female empowerment, which on its face, that's good. That's like that's fine. I think creatively, like, it could have a way that can work. I think that was a condition that might or might not have been considered by Murray as much as a as a critical component of the comedy, as kind of a an interesting and maybe quirky turn to reimagine the story. Um, there's you can have more cynical takes on it. I think that was kind of his way of working that in. Well, he was not going to be necessarily on the hook to be to carry the series, and I think that makes sense to a degree. Um, do I think it was the best move for Ghostbusters per se? I mean, yeah, in my headcanon director's seat, if it's Bill Murray all day, 100% for every kind of Ghostbusters creative work, and he's committed to doing it, hell yeah, I would have loved a Ghostbusters miniseries. I would have fucking loved a Ghostbusters miniseries. Rick Moranis, I'm so glad you're back, Rick. I'm sure none of these guys will hear this. Rick Moranis said he wanted to do a miniseries. That was his idea. Once Ghostbusters 1 wrapped, he's like, let's turn this into into a TV soap or franchise. Let's do that. And I think he had an idea there. I don't think they would have been able to secure all of the talent to stay on board with that. I don't think that Sigourney would have probably been on board either, just because they're very committed, and they're constantly working in movies, and yeah, I don't think it would have worked. I love the concept, but I understand their skepticism. But Moranis had his heart in the right place. I think like that was a great idea. And I would love for to have seen that, if that could have been a reality. It really didn't come to pass. So that said, 2016, a Ghostbusters themed movie came out. And yeah, it's an official production. It's an official production. It's not in my head canon. I don't count it as a it's not in the same universe. I think the movie itself admits that, right? It acknowledged as being in a separate universe. You do get some cameos. Um, so some very kind of they weren't good cameos. All right, the OGs were not treated well. They cameoed extremely poorly in that movie. They were up for diss, and they were up for being played out in the cameos they played. That was really sad to me. That was I think even if you like the creative side of the 2016 film, um, and if you think the ladies are funny, and you think that their jokes are funny, which they didn't really land for me. I mean, some of it could have hit. I think I've seen it, right? Because I mean, study if nothing else. Um, I might have even been crazy enough, although I'm like not admitting this. I might have seen it at a theater. Um, I'm not really sure. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I do know that that movie did not hit for me at all. Apart from disappointing, I mean, realistically, um, I I wouldn't say it rises to the level of offense particularly. I would say I believe the word is indignation. I think anyone that loves the franchise, loves the lore, respects the canon, respects the performances, the quality and the caliber and the kinds of performances that the OGs put in the originals. You can't look at 2016 and say this is equivalent. Not only can you not say it's equivalent, you just can't really even say it's in the same, like, it doesn't carry off the same genre, doesn't have the same effect. Um, it's it's a pretty bad parody. I mean, truth be told, it's a bad, poor, bad and disrespectful parody of the original. Which is not to say that the performances were totally untalented and all the jokes were not funny. No, some of the jokes were kind of funny. Some of them were like ha ha funny, which is not how they played the original, right? They were not going for yuck yucks in the first movie. There was none of that. For some reason, 2016 overdosed on that. I have no, I have no comment on that other than that was no good. And I mean, the slapstick side was played up so damn hard in 2016. It embarrassed spaghetti westerns and schlock horror, right? Like B movie horror with a degree of like it wasn't even camp. It was just slop. Um, yeah, there's things attendant to that. All right, if you hear the the interviews and the notes around the production, they let them like ad lib like a lot, like the talent like super duper ad lib run the camera and keep it in, which is wonderful, wonderful, fabulous, great idea. If your talent so happens to be Bill effing Murray, yeah, if it's Bill Murray, if that's your talent, run that tape. Everything he's gonna do is gold. Um, what we got with 2016, that's I mean it's not even worth discussing. It's not even the same category. um yeah, it's there's a production there, and the production quality is actually pretty good. All right, if I want to talk about the special effects, um 2016 special effects, no problem there. I mean, they nailed that. um that's the only thing they nailed in that production. That it is a sad derivative parody of Ghostbusters, and it was not inevitable. It was not inevitable. The prescription of Ghostbusters with new technology and kind of alternate universe. I would have preferred continuity. I think 95% of Ghostbusters fans, 90%, somewhere in there, would prefer continuity. They want it in universe. We want the OGs. We want the Ghostbusters. But would it have been possible in a similar way to the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, to kind of make it a serialized, kind of a different universe take, or like the Extreme Ghostbusters, which is even kind of like a whole new mix of crew of people and different technologies and stuff? Yeah, that could have worked. It could have worked pretty well. They could have done it with a full crew of women as it was, and conceivably, I would not poo-poo it in principle. I'm not going to say that that's impossible. Um, I just know it didn't work as it was. Super did not work as it was. Was disrespectful to the canon, the OGs. And you know what? Even if we just take the production on its own, we kind of put that to one side. The marketing. Okay, this is kind of what this is what's grating and unacceptable. This is actually the part that like this is where I feel lines were crossed, is like the marketing around that was so embarrassingly derisive and aggressive, and like posturing around the the lovers of the lore, around the fans of the series, people that are guaranteed customers, um, people that could tell you the whole story of the Ghostbusters at the drop of a hat, people that love the series. No bad faith there. Um, none to be had. I mean anybody in a Ghostbusters circle, social circle, that has like bad spirits, bad vibes, right? They're not in a good mood. That shit changes like instantly. Like that's something that's we don't Ghostbuster community doesn't fucking pass on. Like there you don't find there's no sad Ghostbusters. We don't let that slide. Or that's not the spirit of the Ghostbuster community. Um and that was super not carried in the movie itself. All right, 2016, we know that. But the media, the marketing around it, was just appallingly derogatory and um a variety of things, condescending, and just completely taking for granted whatever else you want to say, completely took for granted, abused, in rhetorically, the fan base. Um, Completely unacceptable. I'm needless to say, it's I would express it in more vitriolic terms, right? Like outrage terms, but I mean we're talking about something that happened 10 years ago. We're also talking about something that frankly, if it's not for you, then don't see it. If it's not for you, don't look at it. Um, which is kind of bullshit. But I'll listen to that argument. Okay, I'll listen to that argument in spite of my great feeling of ownership and a principle, like in a spiritual sense, right? We'll say of the kind of lore and legacy, right? I feel there's a personal element to that. I think many people feel that way. Not just America, not just one demographic of people, not just one place in the planet. I feel like the whole bunches of people, all different kinds of people worldwide feel that way. And I felt it was very disingenuous, very irresponsible, and to a degree, yes, I'll go there. To a degree, offensive. I think blatantly, obviously so. Actually, in the literal sense of the word, offensive on the part of those characterizing the fan base, those addressing the customers, those referring to the fans. Literally, actually offensive, and deliberately so, on their part for whatever reasons. For whatever reasons, I do not believe this is at all in contention or hard to see. The It's all in the can as far as media and commentary around that. And why? What for? What for? What did anyone gain from that? Um, I don't know. I think some the mediocre performance at the box office. I think that's one gimme for a gain, which is a loss. It's a gain of a loss. Okay, so it's not a great gain. Okay, you alienated the fuck out of some of the people. Then forget just taking for granted. You alienated the fuck out of some of the core people who want to promote this this brand, this product, this media, because it's more than that. It's more than that. It's a cultural touchstone. It's an icon. I said it before. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. And it means something. It's beyond. It's transcendent, beyond just the media itself. That was completely either ignored, definitely taken for granted, or abused, straight up abused as a factor in people's appreciation of this phenomenon, right? That is the kind of Ghostbusters fandom. It's deeply um, a deeply disappointing situation with that, and I don't want to harp on it because that's not the Ghostbusters way, right? That's There's a whole lot that could be, it could be, I get dissected, I go into a deep analysis of it. That's not really my point here. That I'm doing that a little bit because it has to be done, but Ghostbusters has always been about, as I said in like the first few sentences when I opened the stream, it's about a can-do attitude. It's about getting the job done, right? Probably having a smile on your face, right, while doing it. Sometimes bringing smiles while doing it, but all of that, that's part of the process. That's part of the package. Um, where was that? Where was that? Not only was that absent, that was seriously downvoted on the production side in 2016. It was like buried, with stank on it. Why? Why would you do that to my Ghostbusters? So, yeah, that movie gets a strong, like a tremendous vote of disapproval from me. Um, just based on what was around it and kind of what went into it. Performances in some cases adequate. Humor somewhat serviceable. In some cases, nothing stand out. Nothing stand out. The best marks it gets is essentially adequacy or mediocre, which would be the special effects, which I have to say were they were very serviceable for what it is. But that's a technical. I mean, that's a technical achievement. Um, I appreciate it on a technical level, but that's not what most people go to see a movie for. Maybe Star Wars or something, but I mean that would be completely neglecting the fact that it's the writing, it's the score, it's all of that, and the score. Need I mention the score, the music in Ghostbusters, 1 and 2, top friggin' notch, top friggin' notch. You just don't get stuff like that in general. So those movies were epic. The cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters, really good. 2016, in effect, didn't happen. We could say technically on the other universe, but we know why not. In real terms, um, that's the past. That's the past. Also, there's some crazy, wild-eyed, wild-ass media narratives around um, things like Gamergate and the Ghostbusters themed movie that happened in 2016, and people that may or may not have been elected to office around that time, then or now. Uh, Crazy media conspiracy theories. Am I right? It's pretty freaking crazy stuff. But anyway, on to the modern Ghostbusters. Like, what makes Ghostbusters today? Apart from us just repping the culture and living it. As far as the creative works, well, firstly, I got to tell you, there are some amazing, worthy, um, fan movies, right? Like the fan movie scene, and fan editing also. Something else that's kind of worth shouting out. Is it's epic. I mean, there's at least two, I could say maybe three, fan films that are completely watchable. Um, hold up the spirit and the creative impulses of the first films, and even more so, I think a lot of them do channel the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters. um so, like, yeah, the fan scene, let's keep that all up. Yeah, I've appeared in none of them. I'm including myself in a perspective sense because I could show up, I've got the uniform. But yeah, you guys rock. All right, the fan film creators, some of the best stuff I've ever seen from like amateur film. Um, probably I'm biased. Like, it's a little bit of a gimme because it's Ghostbusters, but you guys do great. Yeah, it's there's no defects in the production that I could see. Okay, maybe some of the effects could be a little stronger. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Okay, and it's hard to approach the Murray in terms of comedic delivery and stuff. All those guys. All of those actors. Sigourney, absolutely great. Potts, great deadpan from Potts. Her deadpan pretty much matched Ramus's stuff that you didn't get in the non-canon movie. It's the chemistry. No, no. So to the present day, we have the next generation effectively. Okay, we have Afterlife, which like legitimately very very creatively solid, well paced, excellent production. Like, the production's very very good. Love the special effects. um Afterlife was a banger film. It could have been better. It could have been better in some ways. I could be critical. I think they nerfed it a little bit because of the coof. Okay, because of the COVID thing that happened around there, which is understandable to some extent. It definitely was delayed a little bit on account of that. I think they were trying to do a little bit more of a darker, maybe more of a more gothic horror kind of like direction, which I think some people would have liked to see. I think maybe Aykroyd was more pushing in that direction, like I mentioned for maybe Ghostbusters 3. Um, but they got most of the way there. They got most of the way there by making it atmospheric horror. Okay, by turning it into more atmospheric horror. I think they still delivered on that pretty well without getting overly gory and stuff, which doesn't super suit Ghostbusters anyway. It's not that type of horror. Um, I think they did really good. Afterlife was good. I think the casting is pretty decent. I think Finn carries it off pretty well. I think some of the others, the actress, I don't know all their names. I know the OG's names. I don't know all their names. Um, but they did super good. I think McKenna, yeah, McKenna, Grace McKenna. Let me just verify that. Definitely. I mean, I approve of their performances. I definitely want to up them. Um, they did great. Yeah, yeah. So, McKenna Grace, actually, um, Finn Wolfhard, um, the kid who did podcast, um, who's like 6 foot tall now in the new movie. They did good. They did really good. They did really good. Afterlife was a good movie. I think the biggest thing that made that work for me though was they actually continued the lore. They brought the OGs in, um and there was continuity. There was continuity, and the story was cohesive. The actors had chemistry. It was everything that the non-canon stuff I'm going to say wasn't. Okay. And by non-canon I'm referring to one official production and none of the fan movies I've seen, because to me they kind of get they're kind of canon. They're my head canon anyway. Um and Afterlife, it had the same vibe. There are Ghostbusters, ghost heads that are like, it goes Ghostbusters 1, Afterlife, then 2, and other things, and I could see that. I could see that. I'm not gonna say that I agree with that exactly, but I gotta say, on account of the atmosphere they build and the chemistry and the writing, I mean the dialogue, and the production, like we're talking the effects and even the music cues again, really carefully done in Afterlife. Everything there super to be appreciated. Um, yeah, I really liked Afterlife. I I think there were many moist eyes in that theater in and around the time that Ramus did his cameo. All right. I think Ramus needed a tribute. He wasn't there. There were reasons he didn't get to do another one. He wanted to do one. I'm pretty sure he wanted to do one. There was a falling. It's not really my story to tell, but there was some distance at one point that developed between Murray and Ramus. All right, and that was very sad for everyone. Um, and I'm just glad they all got to be together on the screen. One last time in Afterlife. That was very that scene singularly. Excuse me, I get a little choked up here. That scene singularly was worth the whole movie. um, that was catharsis. That was a really nice scene. It was very well done. And I miss Harold Ramis. Egon, he did a wonderful job acting as him, and the fact they never got to finish another movie together, I think that's a little sad. I mean, like without CGI intervening, but the fact I think it's fan. I mean, it's fan service. It's for us, but I think there's something symbolically very appropriate. Like I would have liked to have seen them kind of reconcile and do another movie together, and it just I just the franchise did not in any way, shape, or form deserve to kind of like end in and around the mid 20 teens, if you know what I mean. And Afterlife, as much as the title is Afterlife, it was really like revival. It was really like Ghostbusters, reborn, the next generation, whatever. I'm just glad that we got to see that moment on screen, and That brought a lot home for me. um, yeah. So I'm glad that that movie happened. I'm glad that we have the opportunity as fans and as a community to to see new stories, to see some new actors have that care. I mean, that like actually legit are invested in the lore. It means something to them. They can embody the Ghostbusters ethos, get into it, actually be real about it. Not it's something is Ghostbusters is far too important a property, if you want to put it that way. I mean, at a bare minimum, from a business standpoint, it's far too important a property to just play out to shit can as a parody, right? We're talking like a slapstick, to play off the whole essentially the lore as a joke. No, the lore contains jokes. The lore is about jokes. It's about making funny things that are maybe commonplace or expected in the context of the universe. It's not about taking a dump on the whole notion of the universe, which is what certain non-canon um, things try to do. And that will never fly with me. It never wasn't going to fly with any like the almost all the fan base. And didn't. Um, that was rectified in a very significant and touching way in Afterlife. I can recommend that film to anyone that enjoyed the first movie or enjoys the franchise. Um, very very good film. Um, I mean I could probably do a little more detailing and like what I loved about that. I will save that for another time. I have in mind's eye, and I'm gonna probably be doing a review on each one of them and each of the games, because yeah, it's worth it. But that's I'm not gonna go to that degree there. Because I have not seen that movie 1,000 times, unlike the first one. So I don't have the same degree of ready commentary on it, but it's all there. So the follow up, Frozen Empire, um, that's more recent, so that not too long ago, um, ish, and I gotta say it was good. It could have been better. It could have been better. I feel like there was obviously too many demands on the production. I'm talking the whole thing. At that point in time, this was what 23, 24. So it's a couple years old now, but it's like they tried to do too many things with it. From my point of view, it was not a consummate production in the way that certainly Afterlife was in the first movie, right? Like totally solid. It's a little bit more like, I would say, probably a little more like Ghostbusters 2, in that kind of they tried to take it in a little bit of a different direction, had some different creative things they tried to throw in, and I think it worked better overall. It maintained the theme better, especially given the original actors, the original cast, and the chemistry they had. It kind of gelled in a way that like the humor landed, the dialogue landed, and it all fit together better, I think. Even though two's kind of overall course as a story wasn't just jumping back here, wasn't kind of like in the same as the first one. Probably again not as tight in the core Ghostbusters stuff, right? Creative core, and as Afterlife also, which is why some people put those together. But it did hit most of the right marks as far as like creatively. The rating was good. I think it was overloaded, right? I think there's too much dialogue. I think there was too much. The cast was like, they had like what 20, felt like 20. They, as far as speaking roles, they just had too many speaking roles in the movie. That's it would have suited a larger, longer, maybe multi-part production, something more in the direction of a Lord of the Rings, like Ghostbusters of the Rings. Then then you can have a dozen plus speaking roles and really get to introduce the characters properly. Um, I could, I have a lot more, specific criticisms that I could do on that. Frozen Empire was a good follow up, um, but it was not top Ghostbusters, material, and I think they kind of did get sidetracked, kind of with the I believe her name is Phoebe in film. um, um, yeah, again, I do need to Phoebe Ghostbusters. Um, yeah, but McKenna Grace's character, I think, yeah, Phoebe. I think they kind of dwelled on a little bit too much on her like side quest, right, side story, and I think that was a little too strongly characterized for the movie. The Also the whole ghost core kind of thing they're trying to do, where there's like a laboratory spin-off with Ernie Hudson, Winston, right? I think that's going to be his venture. I think that's very promising in principle, but I don't think they had enough time to like properly flesh that out. I felt like it would have been, it felt like they're trying to compress a like 3.5 hour. I was already it's a pretty long movie, like a 3.5 hour. It might have been, what is the runtime length on that? Just gonna check that real quick. Um, Basically like a miniseries pilot. Okay. And it didn't work as well as a movie, and I feel like there could have been there could have been better, probably better editing and stuff there. Um so yeah, it's it's adequate, at a minimum. I mean, it's a little better than that, but it's adequate as a, to stand along the other, very outstanding works in the Ghostbusters franchise, which like kind of gotta go there or go home. Um, but yeah, it could stand to be improved. Little too overstuffed as far as just the plot lines they're trying to cover. Um, and that's kind of where we are up until today. Like, I mean, those are the official productions. There are always fan movie productions or explorations going on, which is awesome. Okay, Logan Kim was podcast, Celeste O'Connor, Lucky. Yeah, so I mean they all brought something. Nobody I think did appear on screen in a speaking role. Didn't fulfill something creatively, but um I think they were trying to do a mini series or something, and I don't think it worked the same way it would have as if it were focused for a film. But that's a fairly technical criticism. I can probably leave it at that, on that point for now. This is a franchise that was unironically brought back from the brink, if not brought back from the dead. And it's good to see. It means something to me. Um, but I think something in the culture around um it's just the kind of the Hollywood mentality, the culture around um the whole notion of fan service, or the whole notion of lore abidance, or respecting lore, is it's really lost or looked down upon for whatever reason in contemporary Hollywood circles. It seems pretty plain that that's the case, and that's deeply unfortunate. It's unnecessary, to a goodly extent uncalled for. I haven't really seen a good case where like there's a kind of media beatdown on a fan base that's like super merited. I'm sure someone might find some particular example that, like, there's very righteous indignation from the press, looked good, and their fans were just somehow deserved it. I haven't really seen that. I haven't. I've not for lack of trying to perceive of where that kind of might work, or why this is happening, right? Because it's like it's not the only movie that mid 20 teens Ghostbuster themed movie was not the only production by far, and many since then have had the same kind of rigmarole applied to them, the same routine of like lore disrespect, fan abuse, customer taken for grantedness. I mean, at a minimum. Um, what's going on there? Number one, and number two, I look at it and I'm like, you know, what's the motivation here? If are literally, are they trying to lose money? Are they directly trying to alienate sure thing customers, people ready to boost and promote the film, to be excited about it, actually, naturally, like just because we want something that's basically like in line with our expectations, that like we know is going to be basically good based on what came before. um Reasonable expectation of that, and like we want something in the same theme. We just want something that's that's exciting, fun, and respectful in the same kind of theme. If it has an amazing story and acting, yeah, yeah, all of that. It's not impossible. It's been done before. Um, but I mean, they seem to want to preemptively shit can that potential, for a lot of things. They the ones in the media, like the press specifically, that are acting as kind of like attack dogs. Them in particular, although I don't think those mouthpieces necessarily are acting independently. I don't understand the constructive motive, if there is one, for these kind of these kind of coverages, if you can call them that. Okay. That's kind of at issue, and it's no longer at issue. Realistically, I don't see that too much around Ghostbusters in the present day, and I can't speak necessarily to going forward. There was to some extent around some of the criticism for Frozen Empire, but some things just ran over long, and they made the humor that was all over the place in that. So I definitely see some criticisms people have of it. Not as strong a film as the I'd probably say Ghostbusters 1, 2, Afterlife, and then Frozen Empire probably be my my short list as far as ranking them. I expected, and based on the promo trailers, just to speak to the promo materials and expectations versus reality. We all got in the promo trailer kind of this like cool like bubblegum pop, like summer horror theme sort of thing going on, right? Like there's kids at a carnival, and like there's some kind of like tsunami or like frozen wave coming up. And I feel like that I mean that scene was in the movie, but it was like pared down and didn't cover what I thought it would cover. I mean, I did think there would probably be like we're seeing people getting frozen everywhere, like large masses of people getting frozen, and like some kind of ice beasts running around. I think I'll be honest, I think they ran out of money. All right, I think they're overloaded with talent, some good talent, some a little better caliber, obviously, than others, but a credible talent. Nobody, like I said, nobody there like bombed out completely. Um, but I think that ate up all their effects budget. And then we got kind of a short, a truncated finale, with with much pared down visual effects, and that's really integral to Ghostbusters. That's one thing that, I mean, every part of the film holds its weight in Ghostbusters. I mean, like in general, it's just a total quality production. That's based on the first one. You could kind of expect that, or we would like to say that would be the bar to meet. That we as as fans, consumers, customers, lore lovers want to see that bar approached. If not met, if not exceeded, we can hope. Some future comedians can do. But the effects in Frozen Empire they're too limited. They fell flat. That's one big criticism I say of Frozen Empire, apart from the pacing and stuff. So that's the weakness of the last one of the franchise. I do see some potential. Like I think the door is definitely open for different different takes on the characters they have there and the lore that they're maintaining up to this point. And I love that. Like I think that's wonderful. Um, if they could do it or not, that it's like they're gonna have to have really good writing. And the production is gonna have to be a lot tighter, in my opinion, for them to successfully, you know, keep that capture and keep the momentum, for people to want to enjoy Ghostbusters as a contemporary, ongoing franchise, and not, obviously not turn it into, already discussed the parody route, not turn it into an MCU light scenario. That won't work either. So they're gonna have to be, they're gonna have to take some care with that as a property. And the fan base is here to guide anyone that cares to. I mean, I think some of us have probably submitted scripts and various other things. Um, it's a very tight knit, community in terms of, the spirit and the creativity. And I think Aykroyd in particular, a big shout out to Danny Aykroyd. He promotes that. He's not just big hearted on screen. Dan Aykroyd is a big-hearted guy IRL, and that's really wonderful. Like that's rare among you know top tier celebrities, which he also is. I mean, great actor, great talent, great writer, um, but like just a big-hearted, great guy. And I think he contributes a lot to the fandom, staying together, and I like very sincerely appreciate that. Like I really think that's great. And I mean, I'm gonna give I'll just give a little bit of a shout out here, just on a personal level. The Crystal Head vodka happens to be delicious. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. with that. That's like a pretty decent vodka. That's just as a personal note here. Not an organization endorsement. But yeah. So creatively and culturally, definite potential for Ghostbusters to continue on. I think it's like a case lesson, the whole thing of where, like, how you could almost completely catastrophically screw up a franchise. Um, like a platinum tier, um, gold ring franchise, just toss it away for nothing, versus do something with it that's worthy and, serves the culture that loves, which it's across cultures. Like I say, it's worldwide, but just loves that lore, loves that canon and the creative and comedic direction that all has, the performances, have brought us. Um, so yeah, we're so appreciative of that. And that's we only want, the best in perpetuating that kind of art, encouraging that kind of art. Wonderful stuff, wonderful. uh and on that note, I think I'll wrap my kind of, commentary criticism on the movies and stuff. um there's certainly a lot more to stay there. I think we do have a few people, still in here, watching now, if you want to put any questions or comments in the chat, I'd be happy to speak to that before moving on, because I think we've been going for about 2 hours now. I'm probably going to save chapter 2 for next time. And it's a little bit late here, so I think I'm gonna wrap it tonight, and we can um, we can get into the gaming on the next one, which will feature a lot less commentary about the movies and stuff. This kind of needed to be put out there because that's, it is commentary, and it also complements the very fun parody comic that I was reading and reviewing a little bit. So that's kind of the purpose of this one here. Um, anyone have anything for me before we wrap? Any comments on my commentary and any of the films? Anything? All right. Let me actually see if I have the game here ready, because I might do a little playthrough of that. All right. It looks like that may need to be updated. So let me do that, and I believe we're gonna wrap for tonight. And this can be kind of the commentary track to a future Ghostbusters playthrough, because I definitely do want to get that on camera. And we will do another chapter of the Wokebusters, which is a fun parody romp so far. Did chapter 1, um, and that's definitely worth looking at. All right, so I'm gonna close out tonight. I appreciate those who tuned in. For those who don't know, I'm Jdawg. This is the Gaming Brethren Advocates. Basically, our principal interest and focus is video games. We do have kind of a broader focus on art, entertainment art in general. We One of our principles, our planks, is basically free art, artistic freedom, and that also includes another one. It's kind of they're kind of locked in as far as they go together. Is respect for fans, right? Dignity of the consumer, of the fan base, and integrity of the lore. Those are all facets that that we value. Um, I think that probably could do, now that I think of it, because I don't know of one person associated with this org, or coalition, or anyone that doesn't understand this precept. But basically, respect, lore respect, and kind of creative continuity. Those are crucial, I think, in many of our viewpoints, that may bear actually being included directly in our principles, because it's just hard to do without. I don't see how. And this applies in video games, not to get it twisted here. Just because Ghostbusters originates as a film, and I've been discussing film, the issues are acutely present and have been for some time in video games. Not, thankfully, in the Ghostbusters franchise video games. Those have all been really quite legit as far as I'm concerned. But the trend in general in games, not good in that direction. Similar with regard to how the 2016 parody production was handled, very um, denigrating of the principles, and the kind of the culture and the purpose of some of the lores, some of the franchises, IPs that that they correspond to. Sometimes it's the production quality is bad. Sometimes it's not even that they're trying to mess it up by anyone's reckoning necessarily, but basically they're just not they're not up to executing the production properly. It's happened numerous times in video games. There are some companies that are worse at in with respect to that than others. I won't call them out right here and now because it's not just one of them, and definitely worth delving into separately and distinctly to see where the issues may be there. But yeah, it's kind of a trend that's popped up across entertainment, um, and it's understandable. Not every production will go well. Not everyone's going to be a winner creatively. Not all of them are going to have the resources or whatever the talent. There's different things that go into it every time to make every game, every movie a winner. That's to be expected. I mean, to some extent, these things happen. But we don't like to see basically. I'll put it this way. Okay, if GBAMFS has one of the things that we're pretty set against, it's like glory killing franchises. Okay, anyone that understands modern Doom understands what I'm talking about. Why are you going to try and glory kill a franchise? Don't act like that's not what you're doing. All right. If you're glory killing franchises in front of us, something's up. Something's wrong with that. Do not do that. Do not do that in any media. And if you are doing that, definitely expect some, from our standpoint, some constructive observations, commentary, criticism. Um, we're not gonna give you the negativity that a lot of the media feeds on. It's not really the non constructive criticism that's not really going to come your way from here. That's not our direction. But as far as taking stock of what's going on, as far as do not glory kill um franchises and IP. It doesn't look good. It's a bad look. It's a bad move. It's a bad business move. Bad PR move. I just don't see what the upside. I don't see what the upshot is. You have to point that out because we're gonna point out where it's not. That especially in video games. But I founded the org. I have my strong interests. Ghostbusters is one of them. Star Trek is the other. Not everyone does um Ghostbusters and Star Trek and Ghostbusters. Not everyone does video games, whether or not they're with one or the other of those or but I don't know how many people are into all three. All right, I'm a big fan of TNG. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I'm obviously a giant Ghostbuster fan, and I am a Ghostbuster. That's in my own reckoning. So I'm like, yeah, don't mess with these things. Don't mess with these things. And both of these things have been in profound and egregious ways messed with. Not acceptable. Not a good look. Not good for business. Not good for fans. Not good for the culture. Intellectual property is held in common with exclusive grant to private parties to do good things with, to enhance the the public experience with creative works and this sort of thing. That's not a completely unqualified, um, you know, um, unlimited sort of grant. That's not really how the commons conceptually going back a ways and up to the present works. Um, Commentary and criticism, that's part of art and culture. That comes part and parcel with having intellectual property and maintaining it, and producing something on it. I mean, you also have the option of not and losing your exclusivity, but we seem to be having a phenomenon of a third way where product that's not befitting, it's not worthwhile. and nonetheless, it's being produced in the name of an existing IP, is being cranked out for purposes, and I find we find that sus. The Brotherhood finds that sus, and we want to know what's up with that. We would like to know. We're not the only ones, but we're the ones articulating it as such. And that's that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing. Our membership has we see pretty eye to eye on those kinds of points. So yeah, that's where it's at right now. I do appreciate everyone who's tuned in, who stopped in. I hope you gained something valuable from this. Learned something about Ghostbusters. Maybe got to maybe got to commiserate a little bit with me and some of my enthusiasm. Um, it's great to hang out with fellow Ghostbusters. So for those of you who are stopping in later, joining us after the stream, watching this after, glad you stopped by too. Please check out our website, gbamfs.org. That's gbamfs.org. Contains more of our principles. The FAQ section slash FAQ will tell you more about our beliefs and our kind of action items, plans for what we believe needs to be done. Yeah, we welcome your participation, and there's a whole lot more work to be done here. Cannot do it all myself. Ghostbusters is a team. So is GBAMFS. So your participation is welcomed, encouraged, and invited. You can hit us up on Gmail, GBAMFS, at gmail.com, and there's always more work to do. I'm always prepared to welcome new members aboard, because we need you. Okay. There's pop culture is not going to maintain itself, obviously. And dedicated, enthusiastic fans definitely can share a space where we can enjoy that together, and enrich our experience, and also, I mean, obviously advocate for a better experience for us all. Because if we do not choose to do that, if we choose to let the media speak for us, they will do so inadequately, poorly, or badly, as we have seen. That's the entertainment press is not prepared to champion the interests of the very strong, maybe diehard entertainment enthusiast, which I'd say is a fair description for myself. I'm a deep lore respecter and repper, and they have no interest in that. Um, they're interested in cranking out drivel for coffee tables. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. We carry our lore Bibles with us in our heart. They don't even know the meaning of the word. So there's always work to do. All right. Yeah, super appreciate everybody who chose to tune in. I hope you love my Ghostbusters commentary. If you don't, if you hate my Ghostbusters commentary, if you have any opinion on it, whatever, please put comments in the comments section. The algorithm and YouTube, I think, hates us and a lot of accounts anyway. So, yeah, we could use all the engagement we can get. Much appreciated. Hope you'll have a great night, and I will see you in the next video.